I just feel like I can't have good things with the show. I can't have nice things with the show because I really enjoy the Lynette character, but they're going to try and shoehorn their worst, most boring character, Tomas, into another storyline. I mean, he's the character that ruined Kat and Eva, so yeah, let's put him with our good character or good new character, Lynette, who brings a good energy to the show. Hello, hello, fellow Beyond the Gates viewers, or those that watch my reviews but are currently taking a break from the show. It was another tough Wednesday episode today, at least for those of us that don't particularly enjoy watching this cancer storyline because it is mighty depressing. It was about 75% of today's episode. The pro to today's episode was that we actually had Lynette on today, my new favorite character. For sure. It was good to see her face on the show for the first time in a while. I wish she could be on more instead of Vanessa or the cancer storyline. So I think I will start with that, and then we will talk about the cancer storyline, or what little I have to say on the story. I mean, it was still good, but it's too much. It's too much. So Lynette and Hayley were partying today, with Lynette saying that this is the side of Hayley that she loves and misses, the side of Hayley that is always up for a good kiki, basically. Lynette was in a great mood because on one hand, she thanked Hayley for getting billed to get her charges dropped. And on the other hand, she hooked up with Randy, which we didn't get to see more of, but we get to see Joey and Vanessa always loving on each other, making me sick to my stomach. But anyway, I digress. Lynette finds Randy's sudden interest in her strange because at one point he was saying that he was basically over Lynette. He got Lynette out of his system a long time ago, and then they hooked up the other day. She was wondering if Hayley put Randy up to this. Lynette is also suspicious because Randy goes to church now, which Hayley laughed at pretty hard. And then Lynette said that Randy is either working an angle or is at war with who he is and who he wants to be. Hayley didn't take Randy going to church seriously and said that Randy's only agenda is to satisfy his own horniness. It seems as though for now, Randy definitely chose Lynette over the church and the church lady, which is fine by me. I mean, I would choose Lynette too over that. But anyway, Hayley and Lynette talked about all the times in the past when they were there for each other with their scamming and how they helped each other with certain scams and how they became each other's ride or dies. Then Hayley left and Randy came to see Lynette. They did some flirting when talking about their sexcapades. And then Lynette said to Randy that she finds it weird that Randy said he was immune to her, but now is okay with PDA with her. Randy said it was a biological reaction seeing Lynette again. Lynette was still not buying it and wanted to know what's really up. Randy was saying it was just sex. It's been a while. Randy says that there is still something about her, and Lynette was trying to see if Randy is lonely these days. Lynette still wasn't buying what Randy was selling, though. Then Randy told Lynette that he didn't tell Hayley about their night together. She did, and he wanted to stop arguing about it and wants to have another night with her. So we're building a Lynette and Randy thing, which I'm here for because I do like both characters. I think both characters could have more airtime than a lot of the other characters are getting because they are actually far more interesting to me. Or at least Lynette is. Randy can be, but I feel like the writing for Randy is a lot of starting and stopping. Like, first he was Joey's right-hand man, but then he was helping Doug, and then they stopped that, and then he was on the run from Joey, and then they stopped that, and now he's working for Joey again, and he's working with Hayley because they're cousins. So they've tried to do things for Randy, but he never gets a full, fleshed-out story. Maybe this is the start of that with him and Lynette. And I, of course, want Lynette to have a full, flushed out story, too. There is a problem I have with the Lynette storyline, though, and that's that Tomas is involved with it. Tomas was with Kat, who was still worried about Anita, of course. Kat was calling Nicole for an update. There was still no update. They ended up talking about Tomas's client, who was Lynette, and how Bill got her charges dropped, and Tomas still feels weird about it because Lynette has no past when he did a background check. And because of Kat's crime podcasts, she was able to deduce that Tomas's client probably was living another life before all this. They continued to discuss Lynette and how she's possibly living a new life now, and how Bill got the charges dropped. And Tomas mentioned how getting the charges dropped was a request of Hayley's because of the whole mugging situation. So Kat found that suspicious too. So basically, Kat was hyping Tomas up to get the full story on Lynette. I just feel like I can't have good things with the show. I can't have nice things with the show because I really enjoy the Lynette character, but they're going to try and shoehorn their worst, most boring character, Tomas, into another storyline. I mean, he's the character that ruined Kat and Eva, so yeah, let's put him with our good character, or good new character, Lynette, who brings a good energy to the show. Hopefully they don't do it too much, and if they do it for a reason, in like a way to kill Tomas off, as I've been saying all along, I would love that. Then Lynette would really be my favorite character if she is part of the reason that Tomas is killed off. But we'll see. Tomas also ran into Bill at Orphe Jean's. This is when Tomas learned that Bill got all of Lynette's charges dropped. Bill went back to his office to look at a copy of his will to make sure it's up to date. He texted Dani about knowing Anita is in the hospital. That's when Hayley came in to find Bill in a bit of a depressed mood. She was trying to change it, but it really wasn't working with her usual flirting and seduction. Hayley doesn't want Bill to bottle up his emotions, wanted to know what he's feeling. He talked about Anita's battle with cancer not going well, and talked about if Anita actually dies, he doesn't know how Chelsea and Naomi are going to handle it, or how he himself is going to handle it, because Anita's always been like a mother figure to him. Bill is feeling vulnerable about his own health because of this, and is now not sure if he wants to have another child anymore, because he might not be around for it. They talked about how they don't have to make that decision today, and Bill was shocked that Hayley is okay with putting her future and a future child on hold. If he would grow his brain back, maybe he would realize that Hayley's been on birth control for months, which is someone who doesn't want a child would be on. But that whole part of the storyline still confuses me from long ago. They also just like to teeter-totter on Bill wants a baby, Bill doesn't want a baby. Bill wants a baby, Bill doesn't want a baby. If they want to make this Hayley storyline so slow, they've got to find better ways to stretch it out. Anyway, Hayley and Randy met up at the end of the episode, with Hayley very excited that Bill no longer wants a baby. And she also brought up how she found out Randy is hooking up with Lynette. Randy admitted that he's hooking up with Lynette to keep Lynette in check like he said he would. He said he wants to stay in her head and in her bed. So we got Lynette scamming Hayley, Randy now trying to scam Lynette. We have this revolving door of scammers. I would rather be seeing more of this storyline than others. But let's move on to the cancer storyline. Ted was in the hospital today with Shanice, talking about how Dani and Nicole is there. Ted sees that Anita's in the hospital. Shanice can't give Ted an update because he's not family anymore. Dani and Nicole were very worried about what Vernon said about how Anita is in so much pain she might give up. Anita talked to Vernon when Vernon went back into her room about the pep talk that Monica gave her. But she wants to stop chemo. She wants to sign the DNR so that the cancer can take its course, which is kind of what 75% of this episode revolved around, that I really don't want to talk about and get into detail because it irritated me today because on one hand, I just don't want to see this storyline every day because it is depressing. Many of you in the comments say the exact same thing. So they are definitely hurting their own audience who watch soap operas for an escape. And it's hard to escape from a cancer storyline because a lot of us have dealt with that in our own lives in some capacity from someone we know or a loved one we know. Some people in the comments have dealt with it themselves. So it's like, it is a lot. Even though I do think they have done an overall good job with it. And the acting, especially, Tamara Tooney and Clifton Davis, at least one of them better win an Emmy next year for this storyline. Honestly, the best moment that came from this cancer storyline today was Anita's talk with Ted. Ted ended up coming into the room and he said he would always consider Anita family. Ted, of course, in usual Ted fashion, didn't realize that Kat moved in with Anita and Vernon. And Anita told Ted something someone has needed to tell him on the show for a very long time, that Ted needs to be more proactive with his children and start asking them about their lives and not waiting for them to share what's going on with them. I feel like this was the writers listening to the fans about something for once and, having a character tell Ted to do better as a father. In the same dialogue, Anita applauded Ted for making up for lost time with Eva, but also told him to not let his relations with Kat and Martin fall to the wayside. She wants Ted to be more intentional about who he is and the man he wants to be. I thought that was a great talk from Anita and is something that the Ted character has needed to hear. So Ted immediately called Martin wanting to talk, wanting to hang out. And then he also wants to spend more quality time with Shanice, although that's not very different from Ted. As for the main part of Anita's storyline, it was basically how Dani and Nicole went into the room trying to give Anita reasons to want to have the will to live, and it still wasn't seeming to get through. In the end, she did end up tearing up the do not resuscitate papers, and it was some more sad stuff for the family having to listen to Anita about how she's in so much pain right now and not having the will to live, but they did get through to her at the end. I'm hoping this is the worst of it from this storyline and Anita can start her road to recovery, mostly because I just want to move on from the story. It has been 3 months. I feel like, I know in real life it lasts a lot longer for cancer patients, but in the soap world, usually not. So hopefully we can move on. In the end, Nicole gave the good news to Ted. Dani went to Bill's office to give the good news in person to Bill. And in typical Dani and Bill fashion, I feel like they are finding themselves back in each other's orbit, or at least Dani is finding herself back in Bill's orbit while Andre is conveniently out of town. So that was today's episode. I do think I read some spoilers. I try not to, but I needed to know if this cancer storyline, was going to be on the next 2 days too. I don't think it is, at least judging by the spoilers. So at least that's a good sign. So hoping for a solid Thursday and Friday episode. I think Lynette might still be on one more of these episodes this week. So that's good, for me at least.